everyone, I am Logan Jungle. I have been a Challenger Briar player every year that she's ever existed with over a 60% win rate. And while doing this, I've also ended seasons being the highest ranked Briar player out of every main server. In this video, I will be showing you every single thing that you need to know about playing Briar and or maining Briar to reach your dream rank. Let's start with your summoner spells. Flash, everyone knows, is the best summoner spell in the game, mostly because it does everything. When you look at Flash, Flash can be defensive to dodge 2000 damage of spells coming towards me, or it can be offensive where I wasn't able to get a kill and now I can Flash and do 1000 damage with a very fast combo. And obviously, your second summoner spell will always be Smite. Now I will shortly go over what Briar spells do and the most important combos for you to know. Briar's Q is one of the best abilities in the game, given that it's a point-and-click stun and reduces armor and MR, while also proccing ETA. This works super well with your rune page, but on top of the fact it works super well for the character. The second big part about this spell is the fact that it can choose what to prioritize. It does not choose champion to champion, but it can get you from champion to objective. So for example, if I was soloing this dragon, an enemy champion came up to me, I would aggro to them, right? To show it again, right? If I was hitting this dragon right here, and then enemy champion got too close to me, I would start running towards the champion. That's how the priority works. Now to change this, I could be hitting this dragon, he could run up, and then I could Q the dragon, thus making me stay on the target that I Q'd. Again, if there was two champions here, and I were to Q this one, but then get too close to that one, it would not lock me on champions. It only changes what you are focusing on through the category. Okay, now quickly pay attention. If you've never played Briar, her W has two parts. It is W1 and W2. W1 is the dash, and then you aggro to anything in the circle, like so. So you click it, go, and now you're going to run. And as you can see, your auto attacks get extra AoE damage. This also gives you movement speed and attack speed. And then the second part is snack attack. Snack attack is an auto attack reset that does execute damage. Execute damage in League basically means it does more the lower they are, and also heals you more the lower that you are. Briar Z has a little bit to it, where basically it's the thing that cancels your frenzy. So if I needed to get out of this situation ASAP, I could hit the button and start running the opposite way. Another thing that it does is the fact that it gives you health and damage reduction, so you would like to use this in a time where you're going to take the most damage, but you have to wager that with the loss of your frenzy. The second part to this spell is the fact that if you do hit them into the wall, so if I charge it like regular, it doesn't do anything. Charge it fully, it pushes them back. It sends them further. If I knock them further into a wall, it'll stun them for 1.5 seconds and does a huge chunk of magic damage. Now let's look pretty deep into Briar's E. Briar's E has the tap function where you don't have to fully charge it like this every time, right? I can just do a small one like that. If I do that small one, it doesn't do much damage, almost none, but it is an 80% slow for 0.5 seconds, which does have applications. Secondly, you can fully charge it and just knock someone really far away. That's giving you an offensive or defensive capability. Throw them away or throw them towards your team. Briar's R can be a little tough to understand at first, but allow me to simplify it for you. If you shoot this skill shot and it hits an enemy champion, it gives you armor, magic resist, lifesteal, and movement speed towards that target non-stop until they are dead or you E. One of the things that makes this champion awesome is the fact that if you hit this ultimate into a team fight, it'll fear everyone around them. This allows you to make some huge plays. When you hit an AD carry, the AD carry runs to their team, and then they fear their whole team because they're scared of Briar flying in. Now let's talk about Demon Combo. Demon Combo is a term in the Briar community used for when you fully charge your E into a wall. It does a 1.5 second stun, and casting your ultimate and its shooting takes about 1.1 seconds. Thus meaning that you can always confirm your R if you can hit a fully charged E. This is important to note because of the fear that if you E someone into a wall and then R them, you're already going to win the 1v1, so if their team comes to help, they might funnel in and get feared too. So, for something like this, if I fully charge this E and then R, that's a really good situation, right? I get to kill them. But you never know what's behind the door till you open it, because if I did this in a 1v1 and I hit it, now you see, bam, you just won a team fight because these people just got straight up 1.5 second feared. They have to run away, or fleet actually. They have to run away, and you're doing so much AoE damage that it's impossible to not win a team fight. So Demon Combo is a must-know team fighting tactic for a Briar player. Now, although something like the first two combos are very confirmed and you can't really mess them up outside of your own error, this one is Fast Combo. Fast Combo is used for beating champions that are super slippery or they have invis, which can mess you up. One thing to note is that when you hit R on someone, it gives you true sight. Now, true sight means no matter what, you can always see them. If they go to a bush, if they go invis, it doesn't matter. Briar can see them. So, fast combo, the idea is that you try to confirm your own ultimate without using too many cooldowns or not getting a lot of your spells. So, if you just do QR, that can be pretty good. As you can see, if you watch the stun bar, you're already starting ultimate, and it's pretty close to them as it happens. But the reality of you just getting a point-and-click R with this short range isn't that good. So a lot of Briar players have adapted to swapping to W1 to get towards them, then Q, and then W2, because if you don't W2, you'll lose it after your ultimate, and then shooting R. So it'll look something like this, you know, where you're able to get a good chunk of burst and try and confirm your R. You got to think about it. If this was an Aurora hitting W, right, if I do this, I can send in an ultimate, and if she goes anywhere in this vicinity, right, with her W afterwards, she gets hit by the ultimate. Now, the idea behind fast combo is you use your WQ and then W2, and when you do that, you can catch some of these invis champs when they go invis. Instead of dropping your frenzy, you're able to kill them because the true sight that your R gives can help you run down enemies. Now let's talk about jungle pet. Now, blue is the best for every game. Well, why is that? It's because red does damage and slows the enemy. Well, blue can give me more damage because I'm in the right spot at the right time, and or I'm running down the enemy at a faster rate. And then green is similar to the flash argument, where if flash can dodge damage, well, blue's movement speed can also dodge damage. So just having a shield is very linear. You have to take damage to get the benefit of that, whereas movement speed can be getting to the play that you weren't going to make it to, chasing down that enemy champion, or getting out of a bad spot. Now, it's important to know when it comes to runes for Briar that she can use so many different pages and it's easy to get lost. So allow me to give you the most consistent for every single game. So we'll start with press the attack, which is when you hit an enemy champion 3 consecutive times, it does a burst of damage, and then for the rest of that combat you have 8% extra damage, something that is super easy for Briar to proc. Secondly, on the first row, we will go with Triumph. You're always going to be getting into fights with Briar, and your spells cost health, so the extra takedowns giving you health is really good, and 20 gold can't hurt. The second line, you can either go with Alacrity and Haste. They are very close in power. Alacrity helps your clear speed, and Haste helps you with fighting champions. Two things that you're going to do every game, so go with your preference here, but I like Haste better. And coup de grace to make sure that your bleed actually finishes off those last couple of kills, because as people start to flash away, you want to make sure that you can get that kill without needing to overextend to finish that kill. And for our secondaries, we'll go with Inspiration. Now, the thing about Inspiration is that it builds a lot of consistency, whereas other things are more special, like Resolve Tree is better for tankiness, and Domination is better for damage. So, when we go with Inspiration, we're saying that we want a consistent game, so we take Magical Footwear, which will help us get to our first item faster because we don't need to waste 300 gold on boots, and Cosmic Insight to give us more flashes in this game that Briar sometimes gets caught in the wrong position. And you should always be going double adaptive. It helps scale into your damage super well, and the attack speed rune doesn't really increase the amount of autos that you get during AW, which we'll get into later. And then scaling health, because Briar will be full clearing, will be getting tons of experience through either fights or clearing, so the extra health helps a ton. Now let's switch gears real quick and talk to you about items. Now let me tell you off the jump, this is one of the hardest things about League, so if you don't understand itemization yet, this video will help you with that, but also just know itemization is tough and you need to be okay with learning with it. Now it's good to remember that this is a guide for a competitive player, someone that's trying to win more. So with that in mind, we're going to imply that you're always rushing Titanic Hydra and Black Cleaver. That is her best 2-item core. If you're manning something like Bork and Black Cleaver, you probably had good success because that's her second best 2-item core. But as you climb ranks, you'll realize that you need the tankiness faster than Black Cleaver and Bork can give you. So you will need to swap to a first item that's tanky, and that'll be Titanic Hydra. Now when we're talking about Titanic Hydra, sometimes people think that it lacks damage, but in fact it's actually better at killing squishy targets just through the nature of the auto attack reset. But Titanic is the best first item mostly because it gives you high damage, high tankiness, and auto attack resets work super well for Briar's burst. And Black Cleaver is second item in almost every bruiser build because of the interaction it has with Briar's bleed. Now once you built Titanic Hydra and Black Cleaver, and then you choose boots, plated steel caps for armor and auto attackers, and merc treads for tenacity and magic resist, then you're left with 3 item slots. So allow me to go over the options for you. You have Blade of the Ruined King. This is an insane damage item that helps you kill through tanks with using its passive, but also it helps killing squishies because slowing them down through its other passive gives Briar more auto attacks, which can confirm a kill. Second up, you have Death Dance. Simply put, this is a super efficient armor item for bruisers to grab, and the passive works super well for if you take a bunch of damage and then get a kill. Well, now you're not taking that damage anymore. Third up, we have Steric's Gauge. This item's main selling point is the tenacity. You need to be paying attention to the tenacity stat. That stat refers to reducing crowd control duration. So, if I have 20% tenacity and I get hit with a 1-second stun, well, that takes 20% away from it, so I'm only stunned for 0.8. This does a really good job at keeping Briar in fights and always doing something. Sundered Sky is a really default great item for any bruiser. The idea is that every time that you auto attack a different target on a 6-second cooldown, you will heal health based off of your missing health. So the lower you are, the more you'll heal. And someone like Briar, who will be getting hit every fight due to the nature of that champion, basically gives you the idea that, hey, I'm getting low, I can W2, which is her bite, and Sundered Sky proc for like 2,000 healing, which can be an insane teamfight changing item. Although it has a ton of good uses for healing and dealing damage, it does lack in the fact that it only gives health. It doesn't give armor, it doesn't give magic resist, and it doesn't give something utility like tenacity. Next up, you have the GOAT of magic resist items. This one clears all of the rest and it's not even close. It especially gets better when you pair it with Steric's Gauge. Steric's Gauge gives you a shield, while Spear Visage increases your healing and shielding. So if they have magic damage that's giving you trouble, build this ASAP. Overlord's Bloodmail is an awesome 5th and 6th item. The problem is that usually a Briar player will need something particular, like Death Dance for armor or Spear Visage for MR. Very rarely will you need to just pick up health. So Overlords is kind of in this weird spot where, because it doesn't have much of an identity, it's not really that needed. But I will say it is an awesome item, and when you complete it, your odds of winning are very high. I would say the best time to build it is a time where you're just snowballing really hard, and you grab it 4th or 5th where you've already gotten everything that you'll need for the lobby, like they're against all AD teams, you've already gotten Death Dance and plated steel caps. Then throw Overlords on it, and it's an awesome build. I round out every single build with Guardian Angel, because when you play Briar, you will realize that you will be in the wrong spot sometimes, and it really isn't much of your fault. Sometimes bad things just happen. So this giving you a second chance at life is very imperative for Briar, just due to the nature of the kit. Now, a good Briar player has to be good at auto attack canceling. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at your auto attack, you'll realize that there is a startup of the animation, and then there's the damage, and then there's the end of that animation. So if you look at Briar right here, you'll notice that this dummy takes damage before Briar has reset back to idle. So as you can see, right, how she just stands there and she, continues the pose that she's in. It's important to cancel the end of it to give you faster and more optimal damage. And now we're on to the Titanic Hydra part of that. This is the most important combo that you can know. And it all comes down to your timing on your autos. So the number one thing that you need to be able to do every game 1,000,000 times as Briar is your Titanic Hydra auto attack reset. Now that'll come from letting Briar do her auto attack while she's in frenzy, because she will automatically do them, and then timing your presses of your keys to that rhythm. So at first I will W, let Briar auto attack, and then I will sequence what I need to do. So for example, if you were to slow down, it'd be W, let Briar auto attack. Q, to reduce their armor, let Briar auto attack. Titanic, to reset her auto attack again, let Briar auto attack. So the idea is that you want to sequence everything with auto spacing. So right here, W, auto Q, auto Titanic, auto W2. You need to be able to do that 1,000,000 times in a game. And the faster that you can do it, the more optimal your damage will be, and the less time that you need to do to put out your damage, which can be the difference of you going too far into a team fight and not. Now, when I coach students, let me tell you, they mess up this combo so often, and that's why you feel like Titanic does no damage. It's because you're not doing the combo well. It needs to be Q first to reduce their armor, and then Titanic following to reset your auto attacks to put out more damage in a faster time. So this is what a bad combo would look like. Something like this, where like maybe they do 2 autos, then Titanic, then something like that in Q last, and it's like, no, we need to get that armor taken off ASAP so that when we do damage it'll be good. Now you don't have to immediately W2 either, you can let it run out, but it's up to you to decide the best time to W2. You know, something like that is really good, right? W, auto, Q, auto, Titanic, auto W2, or if you don't want to do the last auto before you W2, let's say you think that they're going to flash, you can do something like that. It is imperative that you get this right. Now let's talk about pathing. Now pathing is definitely one of the hardest things for a jungler to learn. The idea behind pathing is that you need to see what will happen in a lane before it happens. So if I know I have Trundle versus Darius top lane, I know that they're going to fight non-stop. Same thing for bot lane. If I see I have Ezreal Karma versus Alistar and Samira, right? You can assume Ezreal Karma wants to poke really hard and not engage flat out 100-0, whereas Samira Alistar would like to do that. And as you start to learn the weak points of enemy teams and the strong points of yours, you just make informed decisions. Now that's the basis, but for someone that doesn't know every champion, or you just can't make those decisions just yet, start out with pathing bot lane every game. Start either Raptors on top side or blue buff on bot, and always path downwards, because the idea is that there's 600 gold bot lane, there's 2 champs, and top lane there's only 1 to kill. So the idea of just going bot lane can leave you with a little bit more opportunity than pathing top lane. Bruisers as a class can carry games and they excel from ahead. So if you get 2 kills bot lane, they get 1 kill top, now you're ahead and you can completely shut out enemy jungler from the game. Lastly, let's talk about macro. Now macro is kind of where you are in the map. It's the decisions you make of where to be and when. A bruiser's job in a team fight can be up to 3 main things, but you have to know that the team fights are coming, and most of the time you'll know that just by looking at objective timers. Now when you get to that objective, you want to be present for almost all of them as a bruiser. Bruisers don't really want to scale to late game, they want to be very active in taking part in the game. But you have to be a little smart about giving them up. If you see that, hey, they have more people that can be at this dragon, like, hey, they have top laner running down, and we do not. Obviously, you have to give that. A smart bruiser and a smart jungler knows when and where to give it up. But your main 3 jobs in a team fight, I would say bruisers have the disruptor's job. A disruptor just causes a bunch of havoc. You're going to go flash stun one of their carries, ult backwards to their tank, and E, their support away. That's a disruptor's job. Sometimes you'll realize that your team can do the heavy lifting that is killing people and living. They just need a little bit of random help in various spots. Whereas, sometimes you have to be the assassin's job. Hey, I hit ultimate on their carry, and now I have to use every single thing, trade my life if I'm 5-5 for their 10-0 carry, and if I succeed in that, then my team is now further ahead in that team fight because they have more gold gone, because their more fed member is dead to me. Sometimes if you go 1-for-1 in a fight like that, that can be a game winner. And lastly, a lot of bruisers end up with the tank's job. This is more of a late game to mid game thing where sometimes you just have to walk your team into objectives. You got to take the initial poke, and then you have to jump on the first target that you can to start the fight, get as much value as you can out of your life and your E for damage reduction, and then die, and then pray that your team can win front to back. Front to back being a concept, meaning you kill the people in front to the back, so most of the time a tank will be in front, and then slide through to the back line, which should be AD carry, support, and mid, and so on. Well, we've reached the outro, so hopefully this sold you on the champion. If you were thinking about playing her, again, I think she's one of the most fun in the game. In lower elo, you get to run the lobbies. Mid elo, you get to participate. In high elo, it's a very complex puzzle that you have to figure out to make work. There's a lot of champions in super high elo that can get away with doing a lot less work to get the same effect that Briar does. But it's playing Briar, that's the dream. Man, you get to do something that's awesome with your favorite character. And a lot of the times when you accomplish these crazy things, it looks insane, you feel insane, you truly get to show some skill expression through playing her. So overall, thank you so much. Feel free to leave any comments down below. I haven't missed a comment in over a year on any single video, so I will happily answer any questions that you have. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!
Yo, this is the editor. This shit took for fucking ever. I am not an editor. I hope you like it, though. Like and subscribe. Do all that shit. See you later. Bye.